Hi guys, Iain Dale from LBC, who is a Brexiteer unless he's changed his mind, took a call from another Brexiteer who was extremely confused. Now first he starts out complaining about the right and the far right within the Conservative Party hijacking Brexit over immigration of all things. Then he goes on to say that he voted leave because wages were declining. Iain then brings up a Brexit straw man and down the rabbit hole we go. Have a listen to this.
Shahid's in Hemel Hempstead. Hi, Shahid.
Hello. The first thing I'd like Liz Truss to do is realise that Brexit was not all about anti-immigration. That vote for Brexit at 17.4 million votes beat the record-breaking general election of 1992, I believe, by about 3 million votes. There's absolutely no way that amount of votes was all done because everybody voted on an anti-immigration ticket. I voted for Brexit, not because I'm a turkey voting for Christmas. I'm the son of immigrants. I voted for Brexit because since 2004, the EU had nearly expanded, it doubled. And my wages, whatever jobs I was qualified for, the wages were going down. The rates of pay were lower than they were in the mid-90s.
Okay, I really don't understand what point this guy is trying to make here. Look, I don't believe for a second that most wages dropped because of the EU expansion. And what he's talking about, of course, here is EU expansion, new countries joining the European Union, meaning more and more people coming from different parts of Europe to work in Britain. How can you say, let's not talk about immigration, and then say, well, I voted for Brexit because my wages were declining? Now, he didn't say why, but we obviously know what he's getting at here. If he mentioned EU expansion and his wages declining, then obviously he's talking about immigration. So how can you blame... Look, once again, I don't believe this is the reason for, in most cases, why wages were declining. The economy is growing. You are bringing people in. This was helping to continue the growth of the economy. But how can you say I voted to stop EU expansion because my wages were declining and ignore the point of immigration here?
After the expansion from 2004. So a lot of it was based on economics, but the Conservative MPs, they seem to have got it into their head that it's a green light for them to be as hard right as possible on immigration, and I think that's completely the wrong path. And if that was so popular, then
why do you think that? I mean, I haven't heard her ever say that she thinks most people voted Brexit because of immigration. Have you heard her say that?
I'm not sure on Liz Truss, but certainly for lots of Conservative MPs. I've had replies from the Home Office when I've complained about various policies. They basically think it's the licence to be hard right, the whole Rwanda policy. That's what they always say.
But is it hard right? Is it hard right to say that we want to clamp down on illegal immigration?
What is illegal immigration, Iain Dale? Because I know what you think illegal immigration is. It's people arriving in boats claiming asylum. For you, that's illegal immigration. Well, it's not actually in reality. In reality, and illegal immigration is a very sloppy term. It's not used by legal experts. But if we want to go down that road, illegal immigration is where people, for example, overstay their visa. So they apply to arrive in the UK, they have a visa, the visa expires, and they don't leave the country. They abscond. Or it can be a case of somebody who has put in a claim for asylum, and that asylum claim has been rejected, and they are due to be deported, and they abscond. They go and look for a job in the black economy, for example, and the authorities are trying to find them. These people, avoiding the sloppy terminology here, are what you could call illegal immigrants. But it's not illegal for somebody to make a claim of asylum. It's not illegal for somebody to use a boat to cross the sea and make that asylum claim. And it's also important to remember that between 80 and 90% of asylum claims are successful. They become refugees after that. We're talking about a very small number of people who don't make the grade. But that's not what Iain Dale is talking about here.
Well, surely it doesn't matter whether you're left or right. Nobody can support illegal immigration, can they?
Nobody is supporting illegal immigration. Now, maybe there are some people, but they are the fringe. But the vast majority of people understand that if somebody has applied for a visa, that visa has expired and they haven't renewed it, or it has been rejected, then they have to be deported. Most reasonable people accept that. But that's not what you're talking about, Iain Dale.
Not illegal immigration, but they're just being hard-lined to the point that they're shooting themselves in the foot. Look how we've got a shortage of NHS staff to the tune of over 100,000, maybe 200,000, and they've been reluctant to take on foreign workers for that. There's other industries that are short on workers, and they said all along, well, they gave the impression before Brexit that if there's a shortage of workers that British workers couldn't do, they'd go to the work permit system, but instead they made the work permit system unviable, or 3 months at a time. Nobody's going to uproot from thousands of miles away just for 3 months at a time.
This guy is starting to make sense. But why did he vote for Brexit? Because at the beginning he said, I voted for Brexit because of EU expansion, and that was driving down my wages. Now, he didn't say, of course, immigration, but of course, what other conclusion can you come to? And now he's saying, well, many businesses are struggling to get staff, and we need to make it easier to bring people into the country. Does he understand why he voted for Brexit?
And at a cost of £2,000 visas.
But
and
of
all
course,
that kind of stuff.
the immigration statistics don't really bear you out, because if you look at how many people come to this country now, whether they're from European countries or from the rest of the world, there's still a net immigration from the EU, and the number of people coming in from the rest of the world has gone up. So you can't actually say that the government has been hard right, because the number of people coming from other countries has increased.
But they have made it more difficult for people to come in. Yes, the numbers are increasing, but they're much lower than they were before. There has been a pressure applied to government departments and to the Home Office to allow more people to come in. It's increasing. Is it near the levels where it should be? No, it's not, obviously. Otherwise, we wouldn't be hearing every week from a farm or a company that's risking to close because they can't get the staff they need. They used to be able to get the staff, now they can't. Or, let me correct myself, it's more difficult for them to get the staff they need. It's more expensive for them to get the staff they need. So yes, if you have lots of money and you have the resources available to deal with the paperwork, you can get the staff you need.
Well, it's not being reflected in the in the job figures in the industries that we need. But honestly, like I said, there was a group called Muslims for Brexit at the time. They were based in Birmingham. Birmingham, which is very multicultural, that voted for Brexit. There's no way my fellow ethnic minorities in that neck of the woods would have voted for Brexit if they thought it was like some sort of license to send them all back, which is what a lot of them seem to be getting close towards. And I just think steer clear, because if that was the course that the people wanted, then my parents and grandparents would not have made it to this country. Labour would never have won any elections in the 1960s, because Commonwealth immigration would be, like the Red Wall would have collapsed in the 1960s.
Oh my God, okay. Does he not understand this concept of pulling up the ladder? For example, Priti Patel. She just resigned recently, but she was the Home Secretary. And under her regime, her parents would not have been able to immigrate to the UK. Everything's fine because her family are living in the UK now, but if they were to apply, if she had a time machine and went back to the 1950s or 60s or whenever it was when her parents first moved to the UK, if she had been Home Secretary using the policies that she's putting through, or she has put through Parliament, if she had been in charge, her parents would not be able to get into the UK. I would love for someone to ask her about this. I imagine her response is, I don't give a crap because I'm here, my parents are here, we're not going anywhere, and to hell with anyone who wants to come into the country now, including people from my own country, my parents' country. This attitude, this caller doesn't seem to understand that there are people like that. And just because you think, well, why would, in his case, he said here, the example of Muslims for Brexit, why would Muslims vote for Brexit if it was about immigration? Because some of them don't like more people coming into the country. They were listening to the likes of Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson, and they were able to separate themselves from the sort of racism aspect and say, well, we just don't want all these other people coming in. Yeah, we just want to keep our community as it is. We don't want anyone else coming in because they're going to, I don't know, drive down wages or whatever the rhetoric was. This guy, I hope he has Brexit regret at this stage, but it seems he voted for something that he clearly didn't understand. And now he's complaining that the right and the far right within the Conservative Party are hijacking this right-wing ideal in some way. Once again, it doesn't make any sense to me. Does it make any sense to you? Let me know in the comments section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.